You've all seen the film. And it was a very good film because it was a slice of life. It's something that could happen to you and to me and to any one of us. But first, I want to thank you for coming here. I know you're all key men, that you have responsibilities. You've all received your campaign materials and your literature and your own personal pledge cards. Now, these cards make available payroll deduction and designation. Each of you as a key man in your own department is asked to go for 100% fair share giving to make the campaign a success. Remember these facts. This is the one authorized campaign for federal employees. The combined federal program has the lowest possible overhead, which means that more of the dollars that you give go to help people.
Yeah, that's great. I wish they would help me.
Now, payroll deduction makes giving easier. And you can help all year long with just that.
I got nothing left on my paycheck now.
Now, because each of you is a key man and a leader in your own department, I'd like to ask each of you to sign that personal pledge card now. But first, are there any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. You say all the money we give goes to help people. But how do we know? I mean, I don't think any of us here are against giving, but how do we know who needs it and who really gets helped?
So many people are helped. And there are so many agencies, and if you were on a tour of these agencies, you'd see exactly who gets help.
Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes, Eddie, you had a question?
Well, not exactly. I have something to say.
Oh, we don't have much time.
I know, but I just think that this is important.
No. What is it?
You know, I guess I can understand how Joe Boyd feels because, well, I felt the same way myself about a lot of the programs and services that CFC represents. Somehow they just seem to be too far off, too distant to really touch close to home. And I never believed I'd need the services of these agencies, but, well, something happened, something that changed my life and changed my whole understanding about CFC. Some of you know my son, Tom. Well, a few years back, he was overseas. His wife, Kathy, and his son, Billy, were living with my wife and I while Tom was in the service. And we knew Billy was sick, and one of those things, we don't know, a lot of tests. No one was sure just what it was. He got weaker. We all worried. And I guess we never wanted to face our deepest fear. And the word came from the doctors that Billy was dying. I'll never forget that night I came home from work. Hey, listen, champ, what are you doing up? You should be sound asleep now.
I don't feel good, Grandpa. I heard the doctor told my mommy I'm very sick. I'm afraid. I want my daddy and I don't want to be alone.
Oh, come on now. You're not going to be alone, and your daddy's coming home. You know your grandpa loves you, don't you? Okay. Come on, tuck you in. Good night, champ.
Good night, Grandpa. Honey.
Oh, Eddie, I'm glad you're home. See, there's no way they can help Billy. See, there's no way they can help Billy. If only Tom was here, I know I could face it. If only Tom were home.
That was the first time I realized that I needed help. And I found out the help I needed was there when I called. It was the Red Cross that helped my son return home on an emergency leave. Within hours, they had the telegram to Tom's commanding officer. He came home, but only to find the hardest news any father could take. His boy, Billy, was dying. They tried all the tests. They gave him the best care. But no one had the answer.
Daddy.
Tom was with Billy. He held on to his son. But in the morning, Billy was gone. Well, it's hard to talk about it even today, but the one thought that ran through all of our minds was simply the hopelessness of the case of little Billy. Of all boys like Billy, young people, old people, whose only hope lies in continued medical research that someday can just stump the diseases that kill and cripple so many. Losing little Billy was the hardest thing we ever had to face in our lives. But the one to feel it the most was my wife, Jenny. Somehow a light seemed to go out inside her, and she drifted away from us until we couldn't reach her anymore. Well, I knew she needed help, professional help that I couldn't afford. And that was when I turned to the United Way, and they got Jenny the help she needed with care and counseling. They brought her back to us. Took time, long time. But time is a healer. And in time, we saw that life goes on with new hope and new promise. It's not easy to talk about an experience like that, but when I look around this room, and I see that some of you are still undecided, is there anyone in this room who really feels that they are immune to misfortune or, God forbid, tragedy? Oh, sure, I know that there are some of you who say that, well, what happened to Eddie Scott can't happen to me, and I hope you're right. And I hope you will never have to call on any of the agencies of the CFC, but just look around you. Just look. Is there any one of us who could not have a child involved in drugs? Or any of you that are immune to the problems of mental illness or disease? Is there any one of you who is so wrapped up in your own life, in your own little world, that you can really turn your backs on children who are starving or poor people who need help and training through these programs that CFC makes possible? But, you know, even if you forget about what CFC is doing for other people or what it might do for you when the chips are down, just stop and think a minute. Just 1 minute. Have you people really forgotten what made this country great? What kind of people we are? You know, this nation was built on the idea of neighbor helping neighbor. Not because the law said we had to, but because in America, that's the kind of people we are. And CFC is our way to reach out to help people, not just in this country, but around the world. It doesn't make any difference what color you are, what church you go to, or what country your father came from. In America, we care about each other. And when we give to the CFC, we are investing in something bigger than ourselves, something as big as America itself. Now, look, I know this may sound corny, but that's what giving is really all about. It's reaching out to someone. Now, there may still be some of you who will turn your backs, but this campaign is for people who don't want to turn their backs and who want to reach out and help. No one's looking over your shoulder. No one is telling you that you have to give. And that decision is yours. And it is probably the most important decision that you make all year long. And I guess what I really want to say is that a lot of people are waiting for your decision. I know. I was one of them. That's why I've signed my card.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. 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 Thanks. I would like to step out of my role as Eddie Scott and speak to you as Martin Balsam. In making this film, I came to realize that Eddie Scott stands for a great many very real people. Now, you could change the details, but it wouldn't make any difference. The combined federal campaign services and programs would still be there serving people, not only in this country, but around the world. And that is why I want to urge all of you to use the payroll deduction plan and pledge your fair share now. It's the only way that you can support all of the agencies and programs of the international service agencies, the national health agencies, the United Way, and your American Red Cross all year long. Your one pledge does make a difference. So this year, don't leave it to the other guy.
give your fair share to the combined federal campaign. I thank you, and all the Eddie Scotts will thank you.